Hey, it's Matt from MatthewGronsky.com. Thank you so much for watching this video. I also want to thank those of you specifically who recently filled out a music teacher survey that I sent out. This was, I believe, towards the end of last week. And within 24 hours, I think we had over 100 of you who responded to this email and filled out this Google form. So thank you so much for doing that. I know it was an easy survey, but it really is super helpful to me. And I think it's going to be helpful to a lot of you, just because this little community of other music teachers and choir directors has been really helpful, because I feel like we're kind of coming up with ideas together to a certain degree. And also your input is going to help shape some of the resources that I create. And maybe it might even give you some ideas of some resources that you want to create. So we're going to take a look at some of the responses from this survey. And again, if you haven't, if you completely missed the survey, don't worry about it. I just want to take a look at some of these responses and just kind of get us thinking. So here's my screen here. This is the responses to that Google form, and let's zoom in here a little bit. All right, so no surprise here. Over 93% of you guys, at least who responded, are choir directors, and a whole bunch of us, almost half of us, are teaching general music, and that's actually myself. I teach a high school freshman choir. I teach a high school a cappella choir, and then I teach middle school or 8th grade chorus and middle school general music. So that's probably your typical, I guess, choir director. Is you're going to either do some kind of choir teaching and general music, or choir teaching and music theory. And yeah, we have a bunch of you who are doing music theory, a couple band orchestra teachers, and other. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some of you guys got to teach Spanish in your school too. I don't know what you got going on. But hey, there's some unique positions out there where you're teaching something that's completely different. Maybe it's a music technology class. I don't know. Anyway, so that was that. And then I asked, what resource would you be most interested in for next school year? Choose only one option. And the number one option, drumroll please, was interactive music theory video series. And I just want to say, I love you. Okay, but well, let's not get excited. Okay, my wife and I's our 7th anniversary is coming up in actually less than 2 weeks. Now, I don't mean it like that. I'm saying I appreciate you, and I appreciate your feedback, because I think a lot of you out there are kind of thinking the same way that I am. And actually, if I personally filled this out, this isn't a knock against, and 4% of you who chose something else, but I'm thinking along that same line too. In fact, the main reason I put out the survey was I was trying to see if I'm on the right track. And I'm happy to say that we were thinking along the same page, a lot of you, which is, to create an interactive music theory video series is something that I think would, really help my teaching in the classroom. And maybe, if we have some kind of strange mixture of online learning next year, because I've noticed, one of the things that I really liked is using 70-second solfege, and yes, choir warm-ups and other, and other resources has been helpful to me. I like specifically 70-second solfege because it kept my class and myself as a teacher accountable in pacing the content and progression of my choirs through sight singing. And it's also really helpful for, posting assignments online using Google Classroom. I mean, thank God that I created that, because that was a huge help to me and to some of you. And we're going to get to that in the next question in a second. So 70-second solfege, if you haven't checked that out, it's been really helpful. But my idea now is, I think it would be really cool if there was some kind of a music theory video series that was also, regimented in a similar way, that kind of, guided classes through it. Because I don't know about you, but at least next year, some of the talk is, at least in my school district, is they might be making more numerous sections of our ensembles to help us with social distancing, which means, just for reference, my 8th grade chorus is split in half, and I have two sections of that 8th grade chorus, and then there's some sectionals. And then I teach some general music, and I also teach at the high school. And at the high school, it's all combined. But my point is this. It's sometimes I notice myself teaching something slightly different to one section of the class. And one of my thoughts is, man, I want to be consistent. Even though, yes, I'm basically teaching the same, I'm teaching the same material, but I might explain it slightly different from class to class, and I want to be consistent. And so I think that's one of the great things that maybe like an interactive music theory video series might accomplish, is you have that automation built into the delivery of the content, but then it's that consistency. So I've got a couple of ideas, and I think that last summer, for those of you who don't know, I created that 70-second solfege, and this summer, this is I guess my next project. But interestingly, a close second on the results here was, where is it? Yeah, a choir substitute video series, which is pretty interesting there. A choir substitute video series. So maybe I'll see how much time I have and how gracious my wife is with taking care of the kids while I create this stuff. But a lot of interesting, feedback, and a lot of you guys, safe singing practices for distance, some really creative ideas. A new sight singing game was number 3. So, really, really great responses. And that brings us to the final question here. Which resource has been most helpful this past school year? Now, the responses to this were really, really cool. I guess I wasn't surprised at this because I know a lot of you really appreciate those warm-up videos. And in second place here was 70-second solfege. But I want to highlight something like this. Really, I was pleasantly surprised by this number that I'm about to show you. So I kind of knew, yes, a lot of you guys I know are using the choir warm-ups, and it's great that so many of you appreciate it, and 70-second solfege too. I'm glad that, these ideas and this, hive mind, to a certain degree, of bouncing thoughts off of one another is resulting in fruitful and helpful resources for music teachers. But this is what really kind of, I don't want to say it made my day, but it made me like really thankful for all of you out there and for these responses. And that's this little number here, which doesn't seem like a big thing. So the Music Tech Mastery online course, 9 of you responded that it was the most helpful resource this past school year, and I'm only mentioning that mainly because that's over half of the students who are actually currently taking the course are saying that it's already been the most helpful resource. And I know several of you who are taking this online course, you've already used. I know you've used other online resources and enjoyed those resources. So that means a real lot to me, just because I put a lot of time into creating this online course, and to say that it's been the most helpful resource to a lot of you teachers. That really means a lot to me. And also I'm mentioning that for those of you who might be watching this video, and maybe it's, your summertime and you're looking to relax. God bless you. Do that. Hey, we need to take some time off. And that's what I'm trying to factor into my plans too, is, spend some time, decompress, relax, be rejuvenated, and kind of come back, for next fall. And the reality is, I think most school districts are going to have some sort of blended learning, meaning there might be some online learning mixed with with in-person learning. And I'm just putting that out there only because that's one of the reasons I created this Music Tech Mastery online course. This is a change that I think we're going in a direction in education in general, where technology is going to become more and more important. And long story short, the Music Tech Mastery online course, it guides music teachers through creating 10 digital resources that you can use in your classroom. And as evidenced in this poll, which I really wasn't expecting this, only because the course just launched like a month and a half ago. And it's great to see that people are getting a lot of value out of it. And I just want to put that out to you. If you have this time, if you have a month or two, the course will not take you that long at all. But the cool thing about this course is, if you have the time to invest in yourself and improve those technology skills as a music teacher specifically, this is a fantastic way to do that. So, and the other thing is, I've noticed some of you have been like downloading the outlines, wondering what's in the course. If you have any questions, feel free to to reach out to me, shoot me an email. I'll get back to you. And I've done that to a couple of you. Just to clarify if you have any questions. And the other thing I wanted to mention is there's also an audio series and a video series available too. And the reason I did that is I know there's like so many music teachers, all of you are really brilliant in what you do. And you might have, you might already know about, for example, I know a lot about audio resources, but I need some more. I could use some brushing up on maybe video resources more specifically, just because the whole Music Mastery online course, it goes through everything. There's 5 different sections. And we highlight specifically, there's a section on audio resources and then a different section on video resources. Now that's included in the full course, but if you know, like, hey, I feel pretty confident in my knowledge of audio resources, but I really want to focus on video resources, or vice versa, there's a lower price point for a smaller section of the class. And if you click on the information on my website, it'll give you more specifics into the details of that. But again, thank you so much for these responses. Like, I've never done a survey like this, and I was like, how many people are really going to respond? But thank you to over the 100 of you who responded. It's inspirational to me. It's going to kind of help guide my thoughts. And hey, if you guys are looking to create other resources, well, here's the results one more time. I want to encourage creativity in other music teachers out there. So if any of these resources here that you want to create, go for it. I think this is such a cool time as music teachers where we can create these things. And if you're wondering, like, well, how do I even begin to create some of these things? Again, check out that Music Tech Mastery online course, where I guide you through how you can create these digital resources that you can use in your classroom, or for other teachers, So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, shoot me an email. But thank you so much for watching, and thank you again for responding to that short little that little survey. Thanks again. All right, bye.